Welcome to the Supplement Snoop podcast. I'm your temporary host for this week, Robert Schnetsky. I'm joined always by the permanent co-host of this podcast, Mr. Justin Hall. How are you doing, sir?
Did you say permanent co-host? Remember that. Now I have an alibi in case. Now we have it. It's a verbal contract at this point, man. Don't be trying to pressure me.
It is, unless I just edit that snippet out in post-production. Oops.
We both know you're too lazy to do that.
Very
because
true.
Trust me, there's definitely plenty of things we probably should have edited out, but we never did.
Absolutely. So prior to this podcast, you and I were shooting the shit for a few minutes, as we always do. And I went, this morning was a very good podcast. I recorded with the guys from Axe and Sledge. It was great. You had nothing but good things to say. The few interactions I had with Mike prior to I was actually getting on the podcast were cordial, but I mean nothing very, groundbreaking or in-depth or anything. But man, we had a really fucking good time. It was an awesome podcast. And then it was awesome. Everything that, all the interactions, very, very good. I want to get them back on just because it was that cool. And then after that,
who was all on there? Was it just Mike, or you had more people?
It was just Mike, but halfway through, Pat came on, who has a manufacturing background and does all the formulations for him and everything.
Yeah.
It was great. And then I had already been working for like 2 hours already this morning. And then we did that podcast. I was like an hour and a half. Did a little bit more did all the editing for that podcast. So that's already set up and ready to release for next Tuesday. Then I started to try and go to my workout. Everything hurt from head to toe just because I've got extra time now. So I'm pushing a little bit harder, increasing training frequency and whatnot. And I killed it about 20 minutes in, and I went up for a walk afterwards. And whenever I have a bad workout, I get really pissed off. And then there was a few other things in the supplement industry and whatnot that were really irking me. And I felt like getting on the podcast with you today and just saying, fuck it, we're not talking about any supplements whatsoever. And then you said you had some really good deliveries this week. So, that kind of put me in a good mood. So I'm glad you're having a good week with everything. And overall, my day has been great. I hit some kind of funk after my workout where I was just pissed off. And so, but, everything is good now. You and I are talking. My Thursday is once again right. And so, yeah.
It's interesting you say that. What pre-workout did you take?
I didn't take anything because I sipped about a half serving of Mastermind from Apollo's Hegemony.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I took about a half serving of that just to do for my morning work and carry me through the podcast and all that, just to make sure I was, clicking on all cylinders. And then I was still feeling really mentally alert and I was looking forward to it. And then, 25 minutes into the workout, I had done pull-ups and dumbbell bench and a couple of other things. And I just thought, man, fuck, I feel like I'm just grinding myself into the ground right here. And I just, I said, screw it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's something I totally relate with that. It's like sometimes when I take, especially, I mean, it makes sense too, because this is basically exactly how someone will describe drug use. Because it's like sometimes, if I take, if you're in a good mood, you take some of these nootropic things and like that, and or a stimulant or whatever, and it puts you in a better mood.
Right.
And if you're not, because I'll notice like sometimes, especially post-workout, man, my patience and my agitation level can be like so high.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes, luckily, that's why a lot of times, like if you sort of like can feel it. I've been like using adaptogens and stuff like that for a long time, just to sort of mitigate like sort of you're kind of all over the place. And I noticed that too. Like it doesn't happen to me so much like anymore, but every once in a while, like you get it and you're kind of like mentally worn out a little bit, you're kind of physically, and then you're kind of irritated, and next thing you know, you're like, damn, I'm being a dick.
Yeah.
You're just like, fuck everything. Like, I get it, man. I get it. And then usually something will bounce you back into it.
Right, so, yeah. So the podcast has boosted me up a little bit, and so it's a good day. It is a good day again, and after we get off of this, I'll go make myself some lunch, and then do some more writing, and then, that'll be it. And then just start drinking bourbon.
There you go. Right, because it fights COVID.
Exactly.
Take your medicine. So that's cool that you have Mike and Pat on, because two of my favorite people in this whole industry, man. When Mike was following along with me at Supplement Snoop for, forever. He was like one of the first people, and I remember him like reaching out. We just had some conversations, and I actually want to go right before this whole sort of thing happened. We were starting to plan. I was going to go out there and visit there because
Yeah.
they're from Pittsburgh, which is really close to where I grew up. And I met them at it was at the block party at Natural Body Inc. last summer. Was the first time we met, and then we actually got to hang out when we were in Vegas. Just went and like had lunch, we had drinks, just sat down. They're just fucking great. They're just like great. They make great products and their line is awesome.
Yes.
Their marketing is incredible, but they are just good dudes, and they don't play any of the bullshit that we see so much in this industry. Man, they just kind of do their own thing and they make cool stuff because they're grown men. That like kind of helps because a lot of these people in this industry are just fucking children. And they're all on a bunch of fucking drugs and they're just wacko. And these guys are just like, whatever, man. We just want to make cool stuff and meet cool people. And because I remember when I went there, I went and met with them and I had a Like a Pro t-shirt on. And I went and sat down and Seth was there and Seth's like, it's a nice shirt. I was like, fuck. But they're friends with each other too. But it's just kind of funny. They're good dudes, man. I can't wait to hear that podcast. That they live and breathe that HWMF. They are really onto something with their whole just thing that they have going on. It just works, man.
Yeah, that's what I said in the when I was asking them what was the origins of the name and everything. I mean, just in conversing with them, because they've all got a very blue collar work ethic background. I don't want to give away too much from the interview, but I mean, there is no posing, posturing, pretending on their end. It is just they are what they are, and it is such a natural fit. And it's very refreshing. They're very down to earth, very conversational. It was one of the easiest interviews I've ever done as a podcaster, because a lot of times if you have somebody that's either glib or just doesn't give you much to work with, or they seem kind of disinterested in what they're talking about, it makes for a very difficult, awkward, stiff kind of conversation. I've had really good. I mean, obviously you and I do this every week. It's like talking to family, or it is talking to family at this point. So it's very, but it felt like that even just off that first interaction with them on the podcast. It was super laid back, very easy, and I hope everybody enjoys it too.
Yeah, which is good that you say that too, because I mean, me and you, we don't get along with anybody.
Exactly.
we don't really like anybody. So when you do, you do find other people that you really like. You're like, okay, there's got to be like
there's hope. I'm not
correlation there somewhere.
This introverted sociopath that is just going to die alone in a hut somewhere.
Dexter can make friends.
It's possible. It is certainly possible. And but one thing they said that echoes, I guess, to a lot of what you and I have mentioned in passing on the podcast, is that they're basically don't give a shit about what anybody else is doing with their brand, what's going on with it, not getting caught up in the drama, focusing on what their passion project is and just working it to death. And
they don't just say it like a lot of people say it. Like when you're young, like and you go, I don't give a shit what anyone else thinks. All you care about is what other people think, right?
Yeah. Then you open up a Facebook thread and there's a bitch war between certain people.
Funny that you said it. But then you get to that point, right, where you really generally don't give a fuck like what other people think.
Right.
They're there, so they kind of do it. But you're right though. I think that's what we see. A lot of brands do things. They copy off other brands. And when they deliver their stuff, it's not natural. Like none of it. A lot of what happens in the supplement industry is people identifying with the brand, because you can get a pre-workout in 1,000 places. You can get a protein powder in 1,000 places. So what is it that's going to everyone, even though, yes, there's some brands that, use more ingredients or this and that, but it's like really at the end of the day, it's not the hugest difference. So it's like, well, what is it that's going to separate you from the pack? And a lot of it is, do people identify with you or your, sort of mission? And I think they have just, they've been killing it, man. I love what they do. So I've become very biased towards them. But good group of guys. They live and breathe what they do, and Mike and Pat both awesome, and the whole team there, because I was really looking forward to meeting a couple of the other members of the team. Mm-hmm. But then the Arnold got canceled, and we were, like I said, we were supposed to. I'm gonna head out there at some point, go for a little visit, but who knows when that'll be now.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
But we got a lot of shit this week, man. I know last week I'd said I was waiting on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I got a lot of cool stuff this week.
All right, well, let's start. What's the tour de force of goodies you got this week?
Did it? I don't think I had got the arms race s'mores protein.
No, you took not on the podcast, but the day afterwards, you texted me saying, "Holy shit, this is amazing!"
It might even have been right after the podcast is when I got it. I think we finished the podcast. I went downstairs and the box was there. And I was like, "Shit, dude, that stuff is good. That was a good. They nailed that protein."
Excellent. How's the texture? Are there any inclusions or anything like graham cracker pieces, little mini marshmallows or anything like that? Marshmallows, okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure. When you open it up, I threw it in and I really couldn't even tell. You can't see them like all in there.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't looking. But then when you drink it, you're like, oh. But it's not like I think you and I have talked about not wanting to sort of like eat your protein powder. That one wasn't like that. It was just it was awesome. They did a good they did a good job because some people asked me, they're like, well, hey. Can I try a scoop of it? I'm like,
nope. All right, so that's part of Arms Race is part of the Core Nutritionals Miracle Labs family. Did you ever try the Miracle Labs Patriot Way? Because they did a s'mores flavor too. Does it taste like that? Because that one also had little mini marshmallows in it.
It's a good question. I don't think I've never tried that one. I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting if it was how similar it is.
Right.
Good question. No, I only tried a couple of Patriots Way. They had the Independence Cake. I wasn't like that big a fan of that one. It had like it had like little candy stars and stuff like that in it, and it was good. But the only thing I didn't like about it, because again, I'm not a big inclusion fan, so I'm the wrong person to sort of ask this. But all the inclusions would like sink to the bottom. Like all like the candy. So like you would drink the protein. The protein was just, it was all right. It was solid. Yeah. But then you had to sort of like get all the inclusions. Whereas like the s'mores, and they had their, had Patriots Way that had it's like a Lucky Charms offshoot for fortuitous keepsakes. That's what they call it.
Okay. Yeah.
That one was really good. That was a good one. Didn't have that same. It was all like, if I'm going to have inclusions, I want it to kind of be mixed. That was one thing I wasn't real big about the Ghost Way. It was like a lot of stuff just sunk to the bottom. And, not as small gripe, but the s'mores one, the arms race was really good. And then, because then Core sent me a bunch of stuff. That's why I was going to say I had arms race and Core got a bunch of stuff this week. So Core sent me all kinds of fun stuff.
Sweet. What did you get from, I'm guessing, their new Intra and their new protein that got released?
I've been using the protein or the Intra for a couple of weeks. They sent me the Intra. I think they sent me the Intra before the Arnold. Because they were going to launch it at Bullfrog Nutrition, I think. At the Arnold.
Right. Yeah, and we talked about how there was beta-alanine in it, and I never understood exactly why. I know they've got a breakdown of it on the site. I haven't gone back and read it yet, but yeah.
They have beta-alanine and everything. Yeah. We were kind of laughing about it. You don't have to worry about saturation. If you buy stuff from Core, you're going to get your saturation of beta-alanine at some point. But I really like the Intra. It's got the aminos and the carbs and stuff like that, which is kind of up my alley. But they did some cool things with, and what I like is, I'm not going to say like, oh, they did it because of us, right? But Doug and all of them, we talk all the time, and it was nice to see a company that, we talk about how, say, like a Morphogen or something like that. He's direct to consumer. He can do some things that when you go retail and stuff like that, your business sort of changes a little bit. But Core makes some really great formulas.
Yes, they do.
Especially having like a retail presence that they're so big on.
Right.
What they did a couple of small gripes I had in the industry. I was like, I really want somebody to step up and change this. And they did. The protein is a blend. And now granted, like NutraBio sort of stands on its own. They always do this. But the blend is fully disclosed. Not that they're the first one. I think Olympus did the same kind of thing. But they have like the concentrate and milk protein isolate and something else is in there. I don't know if it's I can't remember.
Is it whey isolate as well? It's whey isolate, whey concentrate, milk protein isolate?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to say that's it. I'll pull it up now. So let me see.
but it's all fully disclosed. It's like you get like 16 grams of this yielding this, and then 10 grams of this and 10 grams of this yielding this. So
Right.
just something like that. I mean, the flavor of it, I got cinnamon French toast. It's awesome. It's like really really subtle. It's not like crazy like sweet and artificial.
Mm-hmm.
I would say all their flavors, I've been trying a lot of their new products, their flavorings are all, I say the same thing about each one. It's like, it's not like candy or like artificial or anything like that. It's just like nice, like good tasting, subtle, very like natural kind of tasting. So if that's your vibe, that's the only protein flavor I got to try is the cinnamon French toast so far. But I heard the fruity cereal one is really good too. Let me look here real quick. They sent me the protein. They sent me both greens formula. So the greens formula is the other thing that I like that they did. We talk about green. I've been talking about greens products nonstop on my stories for like 3 days.
And I just uploaded a review, or just published the review on the steel greens tasting today too. Greens are everywhere.
Well, people ask me, I was like, look, there's nothing wrong. If you want to buy a greens product, go ahead.
Yeah.
But what I had a little bit of an issue with is when people would be like, okay, this is equal to 48 servings of greens or whatever. And I'm like, okay, in volume, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but not nutritionally.
Correct.
It's not like eating. So that's one thing that I've just kind of, I'm like, you get trace elements or trace amounts of vitamins and minerals and stuff like that so you're not taking these greens for the nutritional value that you're eating the greens for, which is, I'm like, as long as people know that, that it's not like eating greens. So Core put a vitamin blend in their greens formula. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, they had some probiotics in there, some greens and reds, and then an added vitamin blend, kind of like what
Morphogen
Ben's Nutrigen does. So I thought that was really cool. That it's little things like that. I mean, it's not the hugest thing, but if you're not, people think that they're getting those vitamins and stuff like that from greens products, and you're kind of misleading a little bit when you're saying, oh, this is equal to eating X amount of greens, because it's just really not.
Correct.
But they did.
It's disingenuous and kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't really see the utility of most green powders. I mean, sure, you might get some of those green compounds, the chlorophylls and their metabolites and whatnot, but which, it supports detoxification and enzyme pathways in the body and stuff like that. So yeah, sure, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just eat your fucking vegetables, people. It's cheaper, it's more filling. And just learn to be an adult and eat your vegetables.
So they, let me take a look at the formula again too. They sent me 2 flavors of it. One is chocolate, which it's actually good. It tastes like you drink greens and it tastes like greens, and then it tastes like chocolate. And it actually works pretty good. But the other one is a berry flavor. It is really good. So they had, I said, both of those flavors were really good. I don't know how people feel about the chocolate. I liked it. It doesn't taste like chocolate. It tastes like greens and chocolate.
Yeah.
But it's good. Like the aftertaste is all the cocoa.
Okay.
So, you sort of like drink it and you get the greens.
Yeah.
But in like greens, a lot of times the aftertaste that's like killing you.
Right.
This one, the chocolate was the the aftertaste. So you get a lot of cocoa at the end. So it's kind of like, it's an interesting experience, an interesting choice, but nice. I think they did a good job. Like I said, the berry flavor was really good. Why am I having trouble finding me?
I couldn't find their greens formula on the website, but to go back to the protein, it is 12. The yields of these proteins are 12.5 grams of whey concentrate, 6.25 of whey isolate, and 6.25 of milk protein isolate. So you get your 25 grams of protein from that.
Yep. And like I said, the flavor of it was really good. So they sent me the protein, and I like that they disclosed the blend. It's good. I hope more companies do that.
Yeah.
Because people always ask me about blends, and I'm like, well, the problem is I can't, because I don't know. If I see milk protein isolate on there, that's good. I like milk protein. But what if it's like 0.01%?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So they sent me 2 greens, and then I got the pump, which I can't. They haven't disclosed the formula yet. I accidentally revealed it very briefly on my stories, but luckily, like I said, Doug and all of them, they follow me. They follow all my stuff and have for a while. And so he's like, "Hey, can you take that down?"
Oops.
But the pump. So when you look at the pre-Core Fury, it's so loaded.
Yes.
And it has such great pumps with it. I was kind of like, man, I wonder. I don't want to say you can guess what the pump is, but there really isn't much left.
Yeah, they're attacking a different avenue, so they're complementary.
But there is some cool things that you'll like. There's one in particular cool thing that you'll like about it as well. That it fits in with the pre perfect. So it's not surprising. They sent me it was like a mango flavor that was really good. They said I could show the front of it, but just not the formula. I think they said the formula is going to come out next week, I think. And I think people are going to go, yeah,
Makes
that's
sense.
Cool. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then they sent me, was that it? I think that was it. Yeah, because I think I have everything that they have lately. The Core Fury, which I love. That pre-workout's awesome. The protein, the greens, the pump. Oh, I have the greens right here. Okay. Because you said you couldn't find the greens formula, right?
Correct.
So the greens formula is, they use that True Serve, which is what the Inspired Greens does, which is cool because that actually tells you, if you go on True Serve's website, it tells you exactly, it's like 14 things of spinach. It's like
exactly
X minus.
The Futureceuticals greens blend, yeah.
So they have psyllium husk, 2.4 grams.
Yeah, for fiber.
They have barley grass, wheatgrass at a gram apiece, chlorella powder at a gram, spirulina at a gram. Then they use Spectra, 100 milligrams. Then they have digestive enzyme blend and probiotics. And then if you go up top, it says there's 3 grams of protein in it, 7 grams carbs. And they have vitamin A, vitamin C, D3, E, vitamin E, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, B12, folic acid, biotin, and pantothenic acid, all at 100%. So they have that little extra, vitamin blend. Yeah. So I think that's cool.
Excellent. One thing I would like that the greens powders to recommend on there in the suggested, like the dosing directions, especially if they have added fat soluble vitamins, is to include some kind of, have that with your meal or have it with some kind of dietary fat within, a couple of hours of the last time of your meal, because fat soluble vitamins, you need fat as a carrier to facilitate the, absorption and utilization of those vitamins.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm looking at the, don't see, it just says directions, mix 1 scoop with or without food.
Yeah, and this isn't singling out core in any way. I mean, this is across the board for all greens formulas. If you're going to put in some kind of, if you included fat-soluble vitamins in there, do some education for the consumer, because they may not understand that those are best absorbed in the presence of dietary fats.
I like it. I think that goes back to something that Prady did on an older acid bottle. He talked about using his products with a lighter fat meal because of some of the things that were in there, the phosphatidylserines and stuff like that. Right. I think. So that was, I agree. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so it's, so you got the 2.4 grams of fiber, 6 grams of greens. You got digestive enzymes, probiotics, Spectra, and the vitamin blend. So it's taking a concept that I don't have never cared for, and it's making it. I think it's like, okay, this is okay.
Yeah.
We've got something here for sure, and it's got good flavor. Even if you're not, I think like you mentioned, like with the chlorophyll and stuff like that. You know, the alkalinity. They talk about greens. It's kind of speculatory and stuff like that too. But so I hate to take something and just hope that it works. You know, sometimes like we talk about formulas and products, and it's like, well, we'll have a question about an ingredient here, ingredient there, and it's like, well, we're not really sure why that's in there, but can you look at the rest of the formula and go, okay, this might not be your favorite product ever, but you're going to get, you know, benefits from this. You're going to get benefits from this. You know, you're going to get some digestive support, some vitamin support. So, you know, whether that's fits into your budget, then, you know, it's kind of up to you. But both greens, the protein's good. The pump, I stacked the pump with Fury 2 days ago, and it was
intense,
crazy, as you would expect. I think that's it. And then, you know, so, I mean, so, you know, we talk about energy drinks all the time.
Yep.
I don't drink them very often, but if I do, it's America.
America Energy, yeah.
One big thing is because whether they send me free stuff or not, I've always just been a huge fan of Core, and then getting to know them. They're just, it's kind of like the Axe and Sledge guys. Yeah. There's a lot of options out there to buy from, and I would rather just support people like them. You know, nothing against anyone else, but they're just a good group of people. So they did a BOGO on their energy drinks.
Nice.
And my wife loves them.
Yeah.
And like her mom likes them and stuff like that, so we buy extras for everyone. And yeah, I think 6 cases showed up today, and I was like, what the fuck?
I'm sure the delivery guy loved you for that one.
Right, so Core, sorry, I'm mixing up my, I got
sure, that's what's going on under the table.
I got something else new in here, too. So yeah, it's like I get some free stuff from them, but they know they're going to get their money from me eventually.
Right. And so what is that you're drinking there?
This is Lepidamax Peak & Power.
Okay, their new where would you classify that? The muscle builder kind of thing?
It's like Saturation Central.
Yeah, it's the all day muscle builder kind of thing.
You got it's like 5 grams of Creapure, 4 grams of carnosine, 2 grams of Pico 2. Then it's got some taurine, Elevate TP, and tart cherry, I think, in there. Yeah. But these flavors are so good.
Yeah, Pico 2 can be dangerous to kind of get flavored correctly. If depending on the dosage you use and what other cohorts you've got in the powder.
Ironically enough, you know, we're talking about flavors. I think both him, I don't want to say I think, but I know this gets a weird thing out there, but they use the same manufacturer.
Core and Lepidamax?
Okay. I'm pretty sure, and which makes a lot of sense because we know those guys pretty good over there. They're good, and they obviously know how to make flavors. Yeah. Because the flavors of these products that are coming out recently are just stupid good. But Jeff sent me blackberry lemonade and grape popsicle, and they're just blackberry lemonade. It's so good.
Interesting. Is there any? And I know you're not a huge flavor guy, but just are there any flavors that
I get a bad reputation all the time? I love good flavors.
Well, I mean, I know you love good flavors, but it is not the at the top of why you would purchase a supplement.
True.
Are there any flavors that might be on the market, but we haven't really seen them done successfully, or they're not as popular as you would like them to be? Do you have any kind of like personal favorite flavors that you would like that you just don't see done?
Well, a good question, right? Because there's, I know a couple that are coming that I would normally answer this, but I can't say. Yeah. But I will say this: one flavor that had been attempted a few times that I just it had never really lived up to was peanut butter and jelly. Mm-hmm. And that Astroflave company, I think we talked about this a while ago when they sent me some. They fucking nailed that flavor. Interesting. But they're the only ones that I think really got like the jelly part of it, right? Yeah. Like a lot of them can get the peanut butter part of it, but not the peanut butter and the jelly. They Astroflave did a good job. Astroflave, I tried their cookies and cream and peanut butter and jelly.
Hmm.
If you're looking for a different company to go with and you want some good flavors, those
Try
are the only
them.
ones I've tried. But boy, they did a good job over there with what they got going on.
Is the jelly more of a grape or a strawberry?
This is
Peanut?
like grape.
It's a grape jelly.
Grape. Mm-hmm.
See, that's one thing I did not like jelly on my peanut butter sandwiches. When I was a kid, I was a super picky eater. I didn't really break out of that until I started cooking in college. But I mean, I had like 4 or 5 groups, and I want to say just about every day of grammar school, my lunch was a peanut butter sandwich. So peanut butter and it was white bread, and that was it. I've never liked jelly. I don't know if it's the flavor or it's too sweet or something. I just peanut butter and bread, and then eventually in high school, I started making what I would come to call the Robert, which is peanut butter on bread. So your peanut butter sandwich,
CDP
spicy
colon.
nacho Doritos on the side, and a big glass of milk. And that was the Robert that I ate that every day for lunch over the summers when I was home by myself. Because
Nice.
so I mentioned before that I studied Taekwondo and I was a black belt. So my first summer job was teaching Taekwondo at the summer camps in the area. So me and my brother and a couple of other people from the karate school where we would go and teach, 3 or 4 hour classes. Not, I mean, 3 or 4 1 hour classes at all the different summer camps in the New Orleans metro area. And on the
Mm-hmm.
days that we weren't teaching classes, I would sit at home and watch movies or do whatever else, go swimming or something. I play video games, and then my lunch every day, I would look forward to it with great anticipation and joy, and I relished that meal every day. Was the Robert. It was peanut butter, spicy nacho Doritos, and milk. And I don't think I've had
Nice.
that since probably high school.
Nice, man. Hey,
Yeah,
you got to bring it back. I mean, we're basically
I know.
back in high school now
Yeah,
anyway.
right.
It was funny because so something else you appreciate, you're talking about video games. And this past weekend, I was visiting a friend of mine and we
Hmm.
were playing video games and like we have been doing since we were like 15. We just get together. And I said, the only thing that's really changed is what we drink when we do it.
Yeah, yeah. It's not Diet Coke anymore, or Coca-Cola, or Dr. Pepper. It is now liquor.
Right, went from Gatorade to natural light to a little bit more expensive beer to like mixed drinks, and now it's just bourbon.
Yeah.
So the only thing that's changed is what we drink during it. So, but I figured you would appreciate the bourbon because, I know we have a side hustle we're talking about. So
Might be a side project to get rolling sooner than later, since we've got some a
that's
little extra time on our hands, and I'm sure people have extra time to kill, so they might be interested in tuning in to see what we're doing.
absolutely. I'll give a free piece of advice that you'll pay a billionaire, to give you. Just find the shit that you like would do anyway, and then find a way to make money at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're like, oh, let's see, we're sitting around drinking bourbon.
Hmm.
Let's monetize.
Yeah. What can we do
So,
with this?
right? So stay tuned.
Yes, exactly. So the picture you sent me last night, was that the one y'all were drinking? It was, for those listening, it was the Four Roses single barrel. For the listeners out there looking to try a different bourbon. So was that the ones y'all were drinking over the weekend, or is that one you have en route to you?
That one is something. So we were actually on FaceTime with some other friends, being that we're all quarantined,
Yeah.
and they had my friend that I was with, him and like we're on the phone with like his brother and his
Hmm.
dad, and they had a bottle, and we had a bottle, so we cracked it open. It was one of the rare like expensive
Yeah.
ones. So we cracked it open and tried that. That was the Four Roses one. And then, like I said, we were trying a bunch of different sort of things that night, a lot of like expensive bourbons. And then,
Hmm.
we were just kind of bullshitting, kind of hanging out, just whatever in conversation. And he had like poured something else in the middle. And, I'm just like talking. I take a sip and put it down. And I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. I was like, what is this?
Oh yeah.
Because this is better than anything else that I've had all night. And I was like, I don't even know what it is. And he's like, funny thing is, that's like $30 a bottle or $25 a bottle. I was like, holy shit. So, it's kind of like one of those things where, it's like supplements.
Yeah.
You're buying into the bottle or the hype, and sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not, and then sometimes
Right.
it's like, man, what if we blindfolded you and said which pre-workout do you like better? Would
Yeah.
you be able to do it? Or what protein powder tastes better? Like if it was a blind sort of thing, a
Yeah.
lot of people will a lot of companies, I know Inspired, Chris is, he does this to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He won't tell me what he's sending me,
Yeah.
if he wants me to try something, because he doesn't want there to be any influence. Because you just naturally, you'll look at a formula and go, oh, I'm expecting this, or, oh, you're already excited about it.
Right.
So that kind of messes things up. So he never tells me what he's sending me. He's like, just sends me a sketchy bag and says, let me know what you think. And I was like, I do trust you, man.
Yeah. Oh, and for the listeners, the bottle of whiskey, the $30 bottle that Justin said tasted like $1 million was High West whiskey. I found the picture from our textual conversations.
Yeah, it's like High West, like prairie.
Yeah, High West whiskey is what it says on the big print in the bottle, and at the bottom it says American Prairie Bourbon.
I recommend it.
We went to the local liquor store here on Saturday and picked up a bunch of things, including I got another giant 1.75 liter bottle of Knob Creek, because the one I bought 3 or 4 weeks ago is now empty. But I was looking at and so when I have an affinity for old fashions, and so I bought the little small jars of the Luxardo cherries, the really nice ones, not the really cheap, shitty maraschino cherries with the red.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, you get those in there, you do that, you get a little of the syrup in there, you mix that in. That's my little thing I like to do with the instead of putting a shit ton of simple syrup in there, I just use some of the cherry syrup from the Luxardo cherries. And I saw that they sell, so the smaller bottles are 14 ounces, I think, 15 ounces, and they cost $20 a bottle for those Luxardo cherries.
Yeah.
At the liquor store, they have the king size bottle of Luxardos, which it is 3 kilograms of Luxardo cherries and the syrup liqueur that they're marinated in.
That's for like a restaurant. You didn't buy that.
They sell it for $90. I pushed the pause button on buying that.
But it might be worth it.
Well, I went on Amazon a couple days later just to see how much is this retail for on the internet. It is $65 on Amazon. I saved $25 getting it off Amazon. So, yeah, that was that arrived yesterday.
I was going to say, so when does it show up?
I got to finish my little bottle of the Luxardos, and then I'm going to crack open the big one, and then the big one, it's good until 2023. I can guarantee you that will be empty before 2023.
Yeah, and that's one thing I appreciate about old fashions are great, but I still don't have the patience for it. Like, it's like, you said you like to cook and you're a good cook. Like, I would love to be a good cook, but I don't have the patience. Like, it was funny because even like today I went down, before the podcast, I wanted to grab something to eat. Yeah. So I just made we had some ground chicken and cheese and spinach and stuff in a wrap. And I was like, I'm just going to have a wrap. I didn't even take the time to warm it up. Like, I just grabbed it and threw it and then I just eat. I just move on.
Christ.
So it's like, it's the same thing like with bourbon. Like, my buddy loves old fashions and he'll be like, well, I'll make some. And I was like, it takes too long, man. I was like, just give me the fucking glass of bourbon.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate it, the effort.
Yeah,
it's good.
It definitely can. And, there's lazier ways or more efficient ways. So you can make a big jar of simple syrup. I like the old school method. I go through the pomp and circumstance of it just because I like the routine. It's calming for me. It's, I enjoy the process of doing it. So, I'll heat up, a little container of water, and maybe I should just do a video of me making these one day and upload that, since we'll for our upcoming project, we'll dedicate it for that. So I'll save the recipe, but I use sugar cubes with it and everything. I enjoy the muddling process and all of that. So.
Right, so you enjoy it, right? It's like cooking. You enjoy the process of cooking.
Exactly, yeah.
I just enjoy the eating part of it.
Right, yeah. And so I have no issue making them, and that's whenever we get together with some of the people on our street, the other teachers that live in our area that work with Sandy, that is my party trick. Whenever all of us get together, it's like, all right, we have the main meal, and then everybody heads to the porch, and then I just man the island in the house for like an hour and a half, just constantly pounding out either old fashions or another cocktail I make. It's called the Dirty Pollock.
See, so you and I would make a great team, man, because I like to eat, you like to cook. I like to drink old fashions, you like to make them. It's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Well, why do you think we get along so well? It's the exact same relationship I have with my wife. She loves
There
to
you go.
eat. She, loves to drink the stuff. I enjoy making everything, so it's a very complimentary relationship.
Same with my wife. She loves to cook. I was like, perfect,
Yeah,
because I
exactly.
love to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll save some of that for our new channel coming out. We'll see if I can get my fucking name on that one. I don't know. It's probably going to be called the Supplement Engineer Bourbon Podcast, but or maybe I'll have a little my name will be in there somewhere. But it's okay. It's not an ego thing. It's all about fun.
Well, hey, for the cover art of all of the episodes, I just want to know, my face isn't on any of these. There's just a logo.
Right.
You are the
Just your
face
name,
of... Exactly.
Your name covering up this much of it. It's no big deal. So I got a couple other interesting products.
Yeah.
From NutraBio.
Their immune stuff? Or
actually, now that I think about it, we ordered some NutraBio, some of that orange cream protein.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't tried it yet. My wife tried it. She said she didn't really care for it, but
I don't like orange cream flavors at all. I don't.
So we'll see. I got to make sure. I got to try that before next week.
Yeah.
I'll have a flavor review, but NutraBio has been and here's the thing, and let's get into maybe a philosophical discussion about this too. You have some companies that are taking advantage of the fact, right, that people are looking for immunity products and stuff like that. There's a real fine line between, hey, this is what people are looking for right now, so they might as well buy it from us.
Correct.
And there's companies sort of, there'll always be ones taking advantage of it. So
right.
I've seen some things where people are kind of taking shots at NutraBio because they're going really hard in this immunity. It's like, dude, NutraBio has been going hard at the general health category for 20 fucking years, way before it was popular and cool to do. So that shit annoys me when I see stuff like that. But they've definitely, and doing their own manufacturing, they can do things like that.
Correct. At a moment's notice, they can switch gears and start doing it.
Exactly. And so they sent me over a few of their. They sent me the EpiCor. Mm-hmm. EpiCor. Did you happen to look at that yet? Because I just started sort of digging into it, and it's pretty cool so far. On paper, it's the difference was, so it's this dried yeast, the fermented dried yeast. But what they're doing with this one is, I guess this EpiCor, there's a difference between getting a whole food yeast source and then other yeast that are on there. That's what they're saying is the big difference with this one. Is this is it's coming from a whole source. Mm-hmm. And so there's some studies attached to it that's showing that it's superior to regular yeast as far as beta glucans and things like that. Interesting.
Yeah, I saw them come out with a product. I need to actually go back and read more on the ingredient because that was something I'm not really familiar with the ingredient at all. So I saw them pop it up, and then somebody else is getting ready to come out with an immune product that is touting EpiCor as well. I forgot.
Alpha Lion.
Alpha, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'll look into it. Maybe that'll be an article topic for Supplement Engineer site or something.
Yeah, so the EpiCor is a natural whole food ingredient. That's the big difference, I think, that they're saying. So it contains some of these things that are, I guess, more intact. Says a variety of nutrients, polyphenols, vitamins, amino acids, and beta glucans, all working to support your health. And there was actually, I think there was 7 different studies that I saw that they had listed. And so, which is, all good, but I wanted to dive a little bit deeper, into it, of course, because sometimes when you peel back the layers, but
exactly
seems pretty good. And, NutraBio's big into it. The guys at Alpha Lion, who I respect a lot there, they like it a lot. Some people I know in the industry that I trust seem to be like, this looks pretty cool. So, they sent me some of that. Kind of one of those things where you're like, well, you can't. It's not like taking a pre-workout and go, well, that was cool.
Yeah, it's subtle.
Right. So we'll see. But looks pretty interesting. That's where I was going to throw that past you to see if, maybe we could take a little dive into that. Maybe over the next week.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. I'll start doing some digging. And we can really sink our teeth into it. Either we can make a separate video just discussing it based on what you find interesting about the supplement and what I can comb through, or we can both collaborate on like a massive article or something like that.
Sounds good. So they sent me that, and they sent me their maca, the Lepidamax.
Yeah.
Gelatinized maca, which maca is great. I think you need some big dosages of it to get like the benefits from it. But so what's cool about this one, not only so it's Lepidamax. I think this is a patented form.
Yes, it is. Because usually you need what, like 3 to 5 grams of maca root.
Yeah, it's pretty up there. So this is Nutrition 21. Nutrition 21 does a lot of cool stuff. Nitrosity, Velocitol, New Level. So what I like about the NutraBio maca, this is very inexpensive. Each vegetable capsule is 525 milligrams, and they give you 120 capsules in a bottle for like $15 or something like that. So really, even if you took 4 of them and got up to 2 grams a day, that would still last you a month. It would be like 2.1 grams, and it's 50 cents a day or something like that. And I think, and then you're getting the extra. You go and you buy a bulk thing of maca from Amazon or something like that.
Yeah.
This is gelatinized maca coming from NutraBio. Their manufacturing processes, there's that extra security that you're getting there. So I think that's one. Men can use it, women can use it. A lot of people just say, oh, it's for men, like sex drive and stuff. But I think it promotes a lot of healthy, just normal body processes.
Yeah, it was anti-fatigue stuff, stamina, vitality, those kind of things.
Yeah.
I pulled up a quick brief that they did, a press release on one of the studies. 2.1 grams seems to be the dose of Lepidamax that's been shown to have confer
Makes
some
sense.
benefit in humans.
So four capsules of this would get you 2.1 grams, and would last you a month.
Yeah, there you go.
Makes sense. So there you go. So they sent me that EpiCor. I think that's about it. Like a Pro, got Like a Pro. There's something else. There's some other things I'm missing. I got a ton of shit this week.
Any other pre-workouts you've been running through lately?
Actually, no. I don't think so. Because I used Core Fury the other day. I used Specimen today. I've been using Like a Pro, Peak and Power for the lower stims. So I think I've been using like older stuff. I don't think I've had anything new. But you know what I did get? I bought from Ben Morphoprime. So that's one of his products that I had never tried before. I've tried pretty much everything in his line. So someone had asked me the other day about Leviathan Ire or Morphoprime, and Leviathan is Will. He's one of our clients. Will is awesome. I know Will and Ben very well, and they both. All they do is try to use the exact scientific backed dosage, and they will they will fuck themselves royally on their profits in order to give people what they want or what will be beneficial for them. So that's why you don't see them like in a lot of retail and doing all these other things, because their formulas are very expensive.
Correct.
So someone had asked me, and I was like, well, you can't go wrong, right? Yeah. Obviously, they're both great. But I bought, even though Will's a client, right, of ours, I bought Leviathan Ire from him, and because I was like, even if he was going to send it to me free, I'd be like, you don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
But so I used Ire, loved it. But I also wanted to compare it to Ben's Morphoprime, not necessarily like a head-to-head comparison, but just I want to try it out. And so I got that. It actually just showed up today. But it is people look for, because what's interesting about this one is berberine is always in GDA products.
Yeah.
Ben's Morphodrive does not have berberine, but his health and blood sugar control does have a gram has a
Correct.
gram of berberine in it. So, which I think is interesting because sometimes, like I was talking to him about this today too. I would probably take this like in the morning because I think the one maybe downside you can say about berberine, it's such a great. It's we know it's effective. Like it's one of those ingredients that's as effective or maybe more effective than like pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah.
But berberine is so strong that it does hinder muscle protein synthesis
Yeah,
a
with
little bit.
NK activation. Yeah.
So I wanted to keep it, maybe away from my workouts or, so maybe try to use it in the morning if you're going to work out in the afternoon or something like that. But so I just got that today, but it's a cool, I mean, it's like all his products. It's like if you
Dose
took
to the
half of
max.
it, if you took half of it, you would
Yeah.
still have a cool product.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'll be curious to see if you're taking this first thing in the morning, and I know you typically don't eat food with it. If you notice any kind of like low blood sugar symptoms or anything, given how hefty some of these blood sugar lowering agents are, like berberine. It's also got 600 milligrams of alpha lipoic acid in there, which is another nutrient practitioner. It's also got antioxidant and some nootropic benefits as well, but it's also used in a lot of GDAs.
Well, and I should say this, right? It's something you and I have talked about, and a lot of company owners have talked about lately. We talked about, measuring your blood sugar and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, like I was overweight for a while, and then like when I was maybe 19, 20 or whatever, I think like, and this is just kind of hypothesizing a little bit, but kind of using science. It's like, if you're at like certain critical ages in your life, and you have problems, it's going to probably affect you for a very long time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like almost like genetically, it's like, well, if during your development years, if you're having some issues. So anyway, the point I'm getting at is my blood sugar is just normally kind of on the high end anyway. So I'm kind of curious to see how this goes in because we've been trying some different GDA products and trying some different blood sugar monitoring. So I think I'm going to pick this up. I'm probably going to use this for a couple of months and just sort of see, take your baseline readings and then take baseline again. Because it's hard because what I wanted to do was do like full blood panels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But right now it's kind of difficult because at least the places around here are very like backed up with, obviously stuff going on. So we'll see. We're trying to take a little bit more adult approach to some of this stuff and hopefully pass along that information to people, because there's some people, that's the reason why I say like what my particular situation is because, that's me, right? So this is how that's going to affect me starting off with normal higher blood sugar, not like pre-diabetic or anything like that, but it's higher. But some people, if you have low blood sugar as it is, you might take this and create, some kind of problem. Yeah, it might be a kind of a problem for you. So, I'm going to try this and probably run it for a little while. Like I said, take some baseline readings and see how that goes. But really cool what Ben does. And I tell you what, I've been talking to him lately. He's got a lot coming.
Yeah, I remember. 2020 is going to be a big, big year for them.
He's got more than even just, I talked to him last week and he was telling me about some things. I talked to him today and he told me a few things. Yeah, he's like something that he just woke up and decided this morning. So he's not slowing down. So anyway, I want to try that. And
one question I have for you, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. All right, so for berberine, you said we know berberine is effective. It's been shown to be as effective in some studies as metformin, which is a prescription anti-diabetic drug. Why are we trying, and it's also affordable, and the body can use it. Why in the world are we looking at trying to reinvent the wheel with like dihydroberberine or some of these other berberine alkaloids and molecules that cost, substantially more?
Yeah, it's a good question. And actually a person that you should ask that to is Will. We were just talking about Leviathan. So I can't say exactly like what his plan is, but he has a really, and I don't even want to try to answer because I don't know it the way he does.
Yeah.
But this is something that I know he's been looking into because he uses like a gram of berberine in his iron formula, and
Yeah.
he has been doing a lot of research and a lot of tinkering around with some of these other forms of berberine
Mm-hmm.
to see. And I'm pretty sure like he's really excited and like intrigued about the results sort of he's been getting. So I don't want to try and sum up what he was sort of telling me because he knows it far better than I do. But
Yeah.
it seems like he's really at least worth checking out kind of thing because I know what you mean.
Yeah. Anytime anytime one of these new ingredients pops up that is a
100%.
derivative of something else, why are we reinventing the wheel when the original ingredient is effective, widely available, and affordable?
Yep, and I don't know if it's just like, okay, or is this a point of differentiation to, that everyone's using berberine? Well, it's like, well, now, you see some of these companies, they use super berberine,
Yeah.
super berberine. So it's like, is it better? I don't know. Does it look better on the label?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'll have to, should reach out to him, ask him about that. Because there's certain things, we talk about, we're doing a live thing tonight, and I said, there's some people that we have, like you and I think have sort of like a broad range of things we can talk about when it comes to supplements. And there's some things that better, than most. But then you have these people like I'll say Will and Leviathan, berberine and curcumin.
Yeah.
he probably knows more about them than any person like I've ever met in my entire life because he just like he's all into these things. Yeah. So it's like, and then you and I can anyway give like a sort of a cursory breakdown of berberine and stuff and sort of help people. But and I'm like, okay, if you really want to know, ask this guy.
Yeah, well, he's a biochem guy, isn't he? So he can understand the attachments and the binding to the receptor sites and all of that stuff.
Yeah, because he'll say same things to me sometimes. I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying. Biochemistry is pretty complex, but so he'd be a good person to ask that question. But I know he's because I could ask him, but then I would try to sum up what he said, and I probably wouldn't understand.
A little bit would get lost in translation.
Right, so I'll let him do it himself.
That works. Before I interrupted you, you were about to say something else, so I apologize for.
It's okay, man. It's your show. It's Supplement Engineer Podcast.
Such a dick.
I don't think I was going anywhere with that other than just, this is another one of those things a lot of people are focusing on the general health things. I think if one silver lining, well, I'll say two silver linings to this whole COVID-19 thing is when they announced that, that supplements were an essential business and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think because we all know how beneficial supplements can be if you find the right ones.
Yep.
We forget that the majority, the 99.9% of the population thinks this industry is a fucking joke. You know what I mean? And doesn't trust it at all and thinks it's all a scam because their doctors tell them it is too. And
or your sister happens to be a pharmacist and thinks they're trying to poison everybody.
Right. And and we haven't done ourselves favors to be honest, right? Sure. So so there has been some legitimacy back reinvigorated into the industry, and then so now you have a lot of new people coming in, and a lot of them are kind of they're putting the pre-workouts and the pumps and stuff like that on the back burner, and they're looking at stuff like that. Even myself, kind of going, oh, hey, duh. So it's kind of an opportunity for people to discover products like this that actually you can, when you take a pre-workout and stuff, sometimes it's like, well, people like that because you can measure it easily, but it doesn't necessarily make it like an accurate measurement. Whereas you can take stuff like this, it's harder to measure, might take longer, but it's actually like more accurate, like getting real data, to put behind some of this stuff. So we'll see if that trend sort of continues. And, it's cool that there's a lot of companies sort of diving in. I won't mention too many names, but there are some companies that they're all of a sudden they're making immunity products, and it's like that. I mean, it doesn't fit in with your line at all. Because all your other products say, fuck your immunity, let's just crack you out. And it's like, but then you see people like Ben, or NutraBio and stuff that this has been a priority from them from the get-go. And so it's good, so hopefully some people realize this and they get more business from it because they've been trying to really help people for a long time.
Yeah. Agreed.
I guess, man, we've already been talking for an hour.
We have. Today has flown by.
I know I got a lot of cool stuff this week, and I know that I'm forgetting some stuff. I know it. Next week, I guess.
Yeah, next week I should have the new version of Overtime should be landing on my doorstep next week.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other stuff that's coming in.
Bomar. I'm getting Bomar's new pre-workout.
Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah. That's the one that's got Citrapeak in it.
Yeah.
Actually, it's on Stacked.
Yeah, it's a derivative of hesperidin, is what it is.
Hesperidin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hesperidin. So we're talking the antioxidants, hopefully cardiovascular, blood flow, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I've got the studies because when I interviewed Josh and Sarah, back at the end of last year, they told me they were looking into that ingredient, and so I reached out to the manufacturers of Citrapeak and said, "Hey, can you send me all the data you have on the study?" So maybe instead of doing Lepidamax next week, or maybe not Lepidamax, EpiCor. Maybe we can do EpiCor and we can do Citrapeak. I'll forward you the emails for all of the Citrapeak stuff I have, and we can start both digging through that over the next week.
Interesting you do that because when I got a question about it this morning on my Q&A, and I had talked to Sarah today when she said she was going to send some, and so I reached out to them. Who the heck makes that?
It is. Let me pull up my email real quick, and I'll let you know.
Prime Nova or something like that.
Prinova.
Nova.
Yeah, something with.
Anyway,
Let me see.
I emailed them today also and asked for a sample of it actually.
Yeah, it's Prinova. Prinova.
Yep.
What is your email address? Tell me, because I've got several different email accounts. I'll just forward you this one from the Supplement Engineer account.
It's justin.hall@supplementsnoop.com.
Okay, and what is your personal cell phone number and mailing address so we can spam that out on the podcast too?
I'm sure there's people listening that know that already. So, what was I gonna say? So I'm getting. I talked to Robbie yesterday. He said he was gonna send Overtime. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
We'll have to try that out together. The Bomar's pre-workout. I'm trying to think what else. I know there's something I'm forgetting. Something else cool that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Not ringing a bell.
I
can't remember. Oh well, save it for next week.
We will. All right, my friend. Go enjoy your time with the missus. Y'all have a safe, happy, enjoyable night, and I'm sure we'll be texting within the next 34 and a half seconds, as we always do.
Well, yeah, I don't know if are you going to, take time out of your busy schedule tonight to check out me and Jacob tonight doing our live together?
I will certainly try to. What time is it? What time are you doing it? 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
6 o'clock my time. Yeah, that's when I can certainly either have it on live or in the background while I'm plugging away, because that's where I've been. The daycare now closes at 5:30 instead of 6:30, and I've been getting this boost in writing productivity. We were mentioned that last week on the podcast. That
it's directly related to bourbon.
Yeah, probably. It's, at least in some part, yeah. So between the hours of like 5 to 7, I've been 4 to 6, 5 to 7. I'll sit down for like a 2-hour block, and Sandy's nice enough to go and play with the halfling after she gets off of daycare in the afternoons with her for a little bit to give me time to work. And so yeah, I'll probably check that out either while I'm working or while I'm sipping a delicious handcrafted old fashioned.
There you go. Yeah, it's me, Jacob from the Nutrition Store, and Ben King.
It should be a very, very interesting roundtable.
I was just looking real quick too. One last thing. Ben Morphogen. Ben has 23 different products.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of products. Anyway.
Lot of products.
All right,
they're
brother.
all diverse. It's not like 6 different versions of a pre-workout.
Yeah, and he's coming up with more.
Yeah.
Guy is not messing around.
Not at all.
All right, dude.
Have a good night. We'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
All right.